Hello everyone, this is Aman. Welcome to my YouTube space. You know what? Every time you see those fancy AI models that listens to you, answers your questions, and sounds almost like a human, and that feels like a magic, right? But that's not. Before the model could even talk to you, it had to go through a process, likely around three stages: pre-training, post-training, and fine-tuning. In this video, I'll explain these three terms clearly without any math so that next time you hear these words, you'll know exactly what they mean. So to understand this, think of AI model as a student. At first, the student is just learning basics like reading books, learning different subjects like math, science, history, but has no exposure on how to appear in exam and has no idea of how to get a job. That's what pre-training is. Next, the student already knows things but now learns to answer properly, how to follow instructions, what's right and what's wrong, what to do and what not to do. And that we call it as a post-training. Finally, the same student specializes to become a doctor, where student studies medicine deeply and get trained for one specific role. That's what fine-tuning means. So, pre-training builds knowledge, post-training shapes behavior, and fine-tuning creates expertise. Here in our analogy, the student is same, but thing that changes is what student is trained on. Now, let's break each one of these starting with pre-training. So pre-training is the very first step. If we connect this to student analogy, students starting school for the first time with no prior knowledge, just a blank slate. Similarly, model also starts from scratch with random weights and no real understanding. Then we feed in a massive amount of data from web pages, books, codes, basically the entire internet at a very huge scale. At this stage, the model isn't being taught answering, it's more like the student reading everything they can and slowly like picking up the language. It keeps trying to predict the next word, and over time it figures out how language works. This step is extremely expensive and compute heavy and takes a lot of time, which is why most companies uses the pre-trained foundational model instead of training it themselves. So by the end of this pre-training, you have a model that understands language, but like a student fresh out of school, it doesn't really know how to behave yet. And to fix this challenge, post-training stage comes in. Now, the student who already knows the subject but hasn't learned how to answer in an exam. So at this stage, we start giving the model examples like questions and what good answers look like, what bad answers looks like, and also feedback on what we prefer. This is also where humans comes in like teachers. We reinforce the right thing, what's correct and what's wrong. We also teaches the model what to avoid, what to refuse, and how to respond safely. So after post training, the model doesn't just know things, now it knows how to respond properly, and now it's ready for our application. Now comes the fine tuning. Now student who already knows the basics and know how to behave, now they are training on a specific career. At this stage, we take a post-trained model and give it a domain-specific data, like data labeled by experts, high-quality examples from one specific area, like medical, legal, or finance. And training here is very focused. But remember one thing, we are not teaching everything again, just sharpening the model for one specific use case. And so that's why this step is much lighter compared to pre-training and post-training, and most companies opt for this. They take trained model and fine-tune on domain-specific data. And after fine-tuning, the model starts behaving like a domain expert instead of generalist. So to wrap it up all, pre-training is where the model learns the language, post-training is where it learns how to behave, and fine-tuning is where it learns to do one job really well. Here we have the same model, same brain, just trained differently at different stages. So the next time you hear someone say this model is pre-trained or fine-tuned, you'll know exactly what that means. And if this helped you understand things a bit better, let me know in the comment box and subscribe this channel for more such video, and I'll see you in the next one.